Cairo, Seattle.
It's time to get schooled with the professor, John Clayton.
How you doing, John?
Good. Hanging in there. You getting down to the Super Bowl?
No, as a matter of fact, I leave tomorrow, depending on the weather, because we're supposed to get a couple feet tomorrow here in Buffalo. I go to Miami tomorrow, going to the Heat game, the Miami Hurricane game. They're playing North Carolina and doing a little deep-sea fishing. We auctioned it off at my son's foundation, and the guy paid big money to go fishing and all those great things. And then from there, on Wednesday, I head to Houston for the Super Bowl.
Oh, nice.
29 years of taking my 5 brothers and my high school football coach.
I'll tell you what, my favorite story with you still is that first year you won the USFL MVP. Because, you had the choice between the car and the beer, and you took the beer?
Exactly.
And the beer company, what was it, Budweiser?
Be honest with you, I'm not even sure. I think it might have been Bud, or I don't even remember what the name of the company, but yeah, that was good. And the worst thing about it, it would have been a lot cheaper for them that I would took the vehicle, or I don't remember if it was $10,000 or vehicle. I think it might have been a vehicle, like you said.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
I decided to take the beer, and they're like, "Oh no, we're going to lose money on this one."
That was the best. Yeah, because I remember at the end of the first year, the beer company was like screaming. That was awesome.
Hey, that's what happens when you mess with the Kellys.
That's it, no doubt. It's like messing with the Kellys and messing with the Haslets. Those are two things you don't want to do.
There you go.
Okay, are you ready here?
I'm ready. Are you?
I'm probably not.
All good.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. It's great to be hooking up with Jim Kelly because we go back so far, and we'll go into the history. And the great thing is, to set all this up, clearly the 1983 draft class was just phenomenal. It was you and Dan Marino. Of course, you had the delayed entry because you went to USFL. And John Elway was in that class. 6 first-round quarterbacks. But the special part about it, you being in Western Pennsylvania, me being in Pittsburgh, and you had Dan Marino. It was kind of a golden age for quarterbacks back in the Pittsburgh, Western Pennsylvania era at that time.
You know what? It was awesome. And one of the things, John, that people always ask me, what was in the water? How did you all come from the same area within like 30, 40 miles of each other? I said, I think our parents conceived us drinking Iron City beer. That's always my story. But the bottom line is there's no doubt because I knew Dan's dad. I knew Joe's dad, and both Joes, I should say. And without a doubt, I think it's the work ethic. The work ethic that we saw as a kid growing up, how our mother and our father, how they had to work very hard to get everything they wanted, and how they told us that, we're going to have to be able to do the same thing. If you want it, you have to work, and you have to outwork the next guy. But it's pretty cool to know that, 5 or 6 of us came from that era and are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and of course that Joe, was Joe Montana, who came up in Denora, right down the road from me, right along the steel areas where all the steel mills were at that time. But it was a special time. Tom Clements was around. It was amazing that all these quarterbacks all had the opportunity, and of course you being the one that was penciled out to be the linebacker, according to Joe Paterno.
Yeah, that was interesting because as a young kid, where I'm from in East Brady, you always think, you're either Pitt or Penn State fan. And I've always been a big Penn State fan. I love Joe Paterno. And ever since I was a little kid, I always thought about going to Penn State and playing. And even I went to his football camp my junior and senior year. And they went to my basketball games. They were highly recruiting me. They wanted me to sign, and I still had a couple more visits left. But they came back and said, you know what, we've already signed 2 All-State quarterbacks. And I was being recruited by some schools as a linebacker, but I did know that I wanted to be a quarterback. And they said, but we'll give you a full ride to come here and play linebacker. And I go, you got to be kidding me. And I said, thanks, but no thanks. I want to be a quarterback. And ironically, my first start ever as a freshman quarterback was against Penn State, at Penn State. And we upset them. We beat them 26-10. And that was one where I probably left with the biggest smile I've ever had in my life.
Well, of course, I was there covering that game, and you brought up the idea. It's like, well, Joe thought I was a linebacker. I think, you had 3 touchdown passes in that game. The game was in State College, and it was an incredible win for the University of Miami, and kind of a great statement by you.
Well, also, I mean, Schnellenberger hinted around the night before that they're going to make some changes, and then pregame meal the next day he pulls me aside, tells me I'm starting at quarterback, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And the first thing I did was I walked into the bathroom and I threw up for about 15 minutes. I was so nervous, but it turned out that we wind up beating them, and that was my start of my career at the University of Miami. And my first 4 starts as a quarterback come from a little small dinky town was against Penn State, Alabama, Notre Dame, and Florida was my first 4 starts as a young kid. So it was a big rude awakening, and welcome to big-time NCAA football.
And of course, I mean, and I know Joe was happy that I was on the beat that year because, I mean, he made the fastest move possible because I was at the Pittsburgh Press to get me off the Penn State beat because I was sitting there and I was sitting in the office and I'm getting all these calls on stories. Oh, yeah, Giuseppe Harris looks like he's been kicked off the team. Make a few phone calls, confirm it, write it. Pietro Harris gets kicked off the team. You call that one in. And so it's like, wow. So Joe wasn't too happy with me. And I'm sure that, with you getting that big win there, probably not too happy with you. But, whoa, what a great game that was.
Oh, it was. And I remember him. And Don Bailey, who is still one of my very good friends, he made his first start there. And I still keep in touch with all those guys. Mark Richt, it's kind of interesting how he was my backup for all 4 of my years playing at the University of Miami, and then he went off to, of course, play and coach, wind up going to Georgia, I say, and coaching there. It's a great family down there, great family tradition, and it's pretty cool.
And I mean, that was a special time for Miami because Howard Schnellenberger went down there and he just built one of the great programs you could have almost out of nowhere. I mean, he just came down there, he started building it, and boy, the athletes just came.
Oh, and you're right, John, because when he came, the first thing that I was thinking maybe transferring, I was thinking about going to the University of Tennessee. And my brother Pat said, wait, find out who they bring in once Saban left. And it wound up being Schnellenberger, but I wanted to know who he was bringing as a quarterback coach, and he brought Earl Morrill. And that could not have been a bigger blessing for me and for the guys behind, Vinny Testaverde, had him just for 1 year, but still Vinny Testaverde and Bernie Kosar came after me. But I know Earl wasn't there much longer than after mine, but just to have that guy mentor me and teach me the how to watch game film, how to sit there and dissect the defense, it was a blessing for me.
But of course, I mean, the great part is, I mean, you had the great skills because, I mean, you had the big physical presence, a strong arm, all that stuff, and it was so much fun, and particularly, even from the high school level to the college level, just watching the development of you and Dan Marino and those guys, because, I mean, the special talents that were there.
Well, I don't know if we, at the time, thought we had that much special talent. I just knew that one thing I was going to do, and when I went to Miami, they told me we were going to throw the football loot, being from a pro football background, and, we were going to throw the football. I get there and they're running a veer offense. And, John, you know me.
Yeah,
there's no way that I'm an option quarterback, even though I did it in high school to a certain level. But, I ran a 4.8. I wasn't no 4.4, 4.5, 4.6 guy. I was a 4.85 guy, and I was proud that I broke that 4.9 barrier and at least got into the 4.8s. But, the thing is, you going down there and, when, of course, find out who he was bringing in, and Schnellenberger came in, and that was a blessing for me because I think even nowadays some of these young kids need somebody to be able to make sure that they put them in the right place, make sure that they're doing the right thing. And Howard Schnellenberger at that time was a guy that I personally needed, and I'm glad that and thank God that he was my coach.
And, of course, I mean, he did such a great job, and you did such a great job. You became a first-round pick, which was expected because of how talented you were. You go to the Buffalo Bills. Oops, you didn't go to the Buffalo Bills. That wasn't going to be in the cards. You go to the USFL with the Houston Gamblers.
Yeah, and it's interesting because if you remember back to my senior year, up for the Heisman Trophy with Elway and Marino and Herschel Walker, I blew my shoulder out. Had 3 metal rods and put in to my right arm after I think it was the 3rd game of the season, and they told me I would never play football again. They said that it was a lot worse than they thought it was, and so I rehabbed it. And to be honest with you, John, one of the main focuses I had in my mind was being able to take care of my mom and dad and make them proud of me, make my 5 brothers proud of their brother who made it, their son who made it. So I did more for my family than I did for myself because I wanted to make them know that I was never going to give up on anything. And that's how I was brought up, though.
what was into the decision of not going to Buffalo and then going to the Gamblers?
Probably a couple. I knew they were still a long ways away from being a competitive team. Of course, it was getting bigger, more players going there, some higher profile people. The USFL said, "Where do you want to play?"
And you picked Houston, which of course was a nice fit.
Checked out the Tampa Bay Bandits. It's between playing in a new league, and signing top quality players, or go to Buffalo where the average attendance was like somewhere around 30,000. It wasn't very good, and that's the decision made. And everything. It's kind of interesting because when I look back on my career, Mom and Dad wanted to go to Notre Dame, and then going to the USFL instead of going to Buffalo. But they all worked out for the best, and thank God that they did.
Please excuse this interruption of Schooled with the Professor. There seemed to be some difficulty with Mr. Kelly's phone connection. That issue has now been resolved. Thank you for standing by.
Okay.
Sorry about that. That's my fault. All right.
Okay.
You owe 2 drinks now. That's double. That's 2 cocktails.
That's a double. All right.
Well, man, you have a habit of pushing people's wrong buttons, don't you?
Not me. No, it's. Let's put it this way. Joe Paterno, I sure pushed the wrong buttons.
Okay.
Yeah, because I still remember.
Finish this up.
Well, no, true story. So we have that Friday session with Paterno, and I'm the one because remember he was always talking about getting into politics, and so I say to him, "Hey, so you really going to get into politics? I'm not going to give up football to the Barry Switzers and Jackie Sherrills of the world." And so somebody took it back to him before the Penn State game. And so Jackie goes walking up to him right before the Penn State game in State College. He says, "Oh, Joe, I'm sorry." You know how he whispered? So, "I'm sorry I affected your political career." And then he beat him, and Joe was steaming. Because he thought I was the one that took it, and I never took it. Somebody in the room did. But it was awesome.
So I take it Joe Paterno was not a big John Clayton fan.
No. John Trowan was the editor of the paper, and he was a Penn State grad. And so he graciously calls him up and says, "Get this guy off the beat." So they put me on the Steeler beat back then.
But now look what you're a legend.
I don't know about legend, but I had some fun. That's for
in your own mind.
Well, in my own mind, yeah. Well, legend in my own mind, no doubt about it.
You're all right, John, my book.
I appreciate that. All right, so now, here we go. You come out of the USFL. You come back to the Buffalo Bills. And all of a sudden, you have one of the most incredible runs you can have. I'm still amazed. How do you go to 4 Super Bowls? A window like that is absolutely incredible. And, that defense, the team itself was amazing for 4 years.
Well, if you really think about it, John, we went to the AFC Championship game in '88 and played against Cincinnati to go to the Super Bowl when they wound up going down and losing to Montana. But, we had 5 out of 6 years. We kicked ass. And the thing is, and I think I learned this about people, the more that we're removed from those games, the more people appreciate what we did. And you talk to anybody, and you look at, a guy like Cam Newton who – went to the one Super Bowl, and you look at some of these other quarterbacks that, they go, they're excited, but then to get back, and some of these teams don't even make the playoffs. And we did it, 4 years in a row. You know what the key, though, to be honest with you, was? It was the mental focus that we had as a team. Even though we didn't win, we were always a very focused team, and just like anybody, after you lose the first one, after you lose the second one, now all of a sudden nobody wants you back, and you just hear all that negativity during the course of an off season. And the key for me was being the leader and being the quarterback. I knew Bruce Smith and Thurman and Darryl Talley and Ken Hall and Will Wolford, all those guys. I knew that they would work out, physically be fit. But you never know about the mental part. Are they going to get tired of hearing it? Are they going to get frustrated and things like that? Oh, we went, or more than anything, John, I think it was the mental makeup that we had as a team, knowing that, hey, we love to win, and let's keep doing it. And, of course, at the end it was more so, let's piss them off, let's go back for 4. But also it came from one person, Marv Levy. Marv Levy did such an incredible job making sure we stayed focused. And I just, when I look back on my whole career, one person that probably more than anything that I wish we would have won a Super Bowl for, and that was Marv. We knew that coming into when he became the head coach and him talking to us that we're not going to get anywhere if we don't start playing as a team, if we don't, the old cliche, check your egos at the door. He knew how to push our buttons. He knew exactly what to say and when to say it. And I wish we would have won 1, 2, 3, all of them. More importantly, yeah, it's always good to win for yourself and, for the team. But for one guy who constantly, year in and year out, was always focused on getting us ready to play, and that was Marv Levy.
And then from your standpoint, you also got together with Ted Marchibroda, who really had you so advanced because you were running the K-gun. I mean, you were running things back then that are being run right now, but it's considered to be revolutionary.
To the T. And the thing is, nobody ever says, remember Boomer, how he started running the no-huddle offense, but they ran a lot of times like a muddle huddle. We just ran the no-huddle. John, if you don't know this, but a lot of people don't understand what the no-huddle is all about if you're calling your own plays. So what happened was we complete a pass. Now it's 2nd down and 4. Now automatically my mind's going to think formation first. And I would yell out formation. I go, take a good example. 8, Cubs, 74 double switch. No, Louisville. I would yell stuff out constantly because the thing is, my mind had to be working within a 2 to 3 second pace on down and distance, know what formation, what play I want to run, what protection, snap count. I had to do all this within 5-6 seconds to make sure everybody's lined up. And then if they're in a zone defense and you ran the play for man, you have to audible out of it. But a lot of times what was so good about our system was a lot of our plays were designed that if they were blitzing, we had a guy that would go in. Unless I saw something that was totally obvious that I had James Lofton one-on-one or I had Andre Reed on a linebacker or a nickelback that I knew it could beat him, I would audible to something else if I knew that we had a mismatch somewhere. So for me, it was a matter of 3rd and 8 now, because it wasn't like you sit back in the huddle, you wait for the coach to call the play, you break the huddle, you go up, you look at the defense. Ours was boom, boom, boom. I had to think within 2-3 seconds, formation, protection, play, snap count, and make sure everybody knew that play. So a lot of people, almost take it for granted when you do the know-how to hurry up that you're waiting for a play to be called back in your ear. The majority of my career, we had no the hearing piece that you have in your helmets. It was when I came to the sidelines, I looked at my wristband and I'd say, okay, I already ran that on 3rd and 3 to 5. Next time I'm going to run this play on 3rd and 3 to 5. So my mind, but like you said, Ted Marchibroda was such an amazing man. How he prepared me so well during the course of those years that to get me thinking of, okay, this is what you got to do during this time, and just to practice the mental makeup that I went through. And I think at the time, one of the only guys that bought one of those big projectors and took it home with me because I had to, because I was like the offensive coordinator, even though Ted tutored me so well during the course of the week. But I had to go back and watch film, and I many times I would fall asleep in my film room at my home watching film, and I'd wake up, I'd drink a cup of coffee, I'd watch another hour or so of film. So a lot of those things were never mentioned, but we started that no-huddle, quick-pace offense, almost like what the New England Patriots are running today, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, no doubt. And that was so great to watch and so great to do it. And, of course, you had such fun doing it. And, really, it's funny because, you shied away from Buffalo at the beginning, and really you became Buffalo. You actually became the whole area because, the toughness that you showed on the field, what you meant to the franchise. It was just, it's great to see. It was a wonderful story that you've had on a wonderful career.
Well, I enjoyed Buffalo. That's why I still am up here. And John, people always say, why you still live here? And there's a lot of reasons. Of course, number one, probably my son is laid to rest here. My wife's from here. I'm still employed by the Buffalo Bills. Thank the good Lord. They still take very good care of me. And I love the people. The people are amazing. And it's just one of those times where it's almost like Pittsburgh. You know, you talk about the blue collar, you talk about the working man, and how everybody rallies around the people that need the help, whether it's somebody sick. And when I played, you know, just the surrounding, the people around here, they just appreciate. Yeah, we all wanted to win, yeah, but then all of a sudden, you know, with me and my son, how they rallied around me, and I mean, big time. And then, of course, with the cancer. So I'm a very blessed man, John. And as I travel the country, I look around, I think about my career, I think about what I did. I'm a very blessed man, but now I do understand why the good Lord had me go through all those things, that I could be an inspiration to other people that may want to give up. And I just hope that when I speak, and I speak a lot around the country now, that when people walk away, they walk away with an attitude that's going to make somebody's day better by what they said in their presence.
Well, I think you've made a lot of people's day better just by talking today, and it's always great talking to you, and I hope to catch up to you down in Houston, and hopefully you still have a few of those beers left from back in the old USFL days.
John, I guarantee you when I see you in Houston, I'll give you a big hug, put you in a headlock, and I'll walk you over to the bar and have you buy me a cool beer.
I'll be happy to do it. You got it.
I like it, buddy. You take care of yourself. God bless, bud. It's always good talking with you.
Okay. Hey, thanks, Jim. That's it for this week's edition of Schooled. You can follow me on Twitter at Clayton ESPN. Thanks for listening. Class dismissed.